Pleasant day everyone. So we're going to report about the topic Fauvism. So what is Fauvism? So Fauvism is a colorful style of painting developed by Henri Matisse and André Derain, who use vibrant colors, simplified drawing, and expressive brush work. So in Fauvism, there is this group called Les Fauves, French for the wild beasts. So they are a group of modern artists who believed that color had a spiritual quality which linked directly to your emotions, and they loved to use it at the highest possible pitch. So in Fauvism, they use bright, wild, and vividly intense colors to help convey a mood. Lines are simplified as much as possible, as well as very unnatural lines, usually have no real basis in reality and often look very childish. Because as you can notice in paintings in Fauvism, they use colors in exaggerated way. Then Fauvism was the first real avant-garde art of the 20th century. So avant-garde is a liberal arts expresses dramatic, political, and social changes. Although it had no agenda, no manifesto, no agreed set of aesthetics, just a wide group of friends with similar ideas about painting. So its decorative composition and emancipated employment of color made it. So it made the term Fauvism. So in the words of Roald Duffy, a miracle of imagination produced by drawing and color. So we have here a famous Fauvist painters. So the most important Fauvist painters were Henri Matisse and André Derain. So as stated there in the previous slides. They had both studied together in 1897, together with Derain's close friend Maurice de Vlaminck. So other members of the group, nicknamed Fauvists by Voissels, included the Dutch-born figurative painter Guy van Dongen, the lyrical artist George Roald, the painter of waterways Albert Marquet, the delicate colorist Roald Duffy, the cubist-in-waiting George Braque, the Le Havre artist Othon Fries, the neo-impressionist Louis Valtat, the versatile Henry Charles Makin, the impressionistic Charles Camon, another friend of Matisse from Moreau's class at the École des Beaux-Arts, and Jean Puy, a participant at the original 1905 Salon d'Automne show. So we're just giving you the profile of the four major artists in Fauvism, which includes Henri Matisse, André Derain, Paul Gauguin, and Maurice Marionneau.
So, here are the background of famous Fauvist painters. First is Henri Matisse. Henri Matisse was born in December 31, 1869 and died in November 3, 1954. A French painter, draughtsman, printmaker, and sculptor. He was a major founder of the movement along with André Derain and one of the most influential painters of the 20th century. Henri Matisse attended academic career. In 1891, Matisse returned to Paris to study art at the Académie Julian. At the beginning of his professional career as an artist, he used to paint still lifes, landscape, or copy other painters' work. But the key to his success was by using exaggerated colors with simplified drawings. At the beginning of his career, he mostly used a darker earth-colored palette of colors, but it totally changed after he was introduced to Vincent van Gogh's work. It impacted him to use way more vivid colors in his works, and that led it to look them more alive and expressive. He amplified the sense of joy that he had achieved through the colors he used. He has an extensive sensibility in his work. His mastery of the expressive language of colors and drawings displayed in a body of work spanning over a half-century won him recognition as a leading figure in modern art. Second, André Derain. He was born in June 10, 1880 at Chateau, France, and died September 8, 1954 at Garches. He is a French painter, sculptor, printmaker, and designer who was one of the principal Fauvists. He attended academic career in Paris where he met Matisse. Therein studied painting in Paris at the academic career from 1898 to 1899. He developed his early style in association with Maurice de Vlaminck, who he met, and with Henri Matisse, who had been Derain's fellow student at the academic career. Like the other artists who worked in this style, he painted he painted landscape and figure studies in brilliant, sometimes pure colors, and used broken brushes and impulsive line to define his spontaneous composition. He had to convince his parents to allow him to be a painter and was originally going to be a painter and was originally going to be an engineer. Derain loved using bold colors, especially in his paintings of the Thames and Tower Bridge. His art underwent virtually no change after the 1920s, though his more conservative style brought him financial success. After 1906, his role of colors were reduced and the forms became restricted. After his military service was over, he went back to classicism.
Paul Gauguin, June 7, 1848 to May 8, 1903, a major founder along with Henri Matisse, loved experimenting with colors, even had symbolic meanings for each color. Mostly did self-portraits. He moved to Tahiti to paint the people and he believed water does not reflect what's above the surface. He also loved to do paintings of the native people in Tahiti. Maurice Marionot, March 28, 1882 to 1960. He was a painter as well as a glassmaker. He was also a member of Les Fauves, the Fauvism group. His parents sent him to École des Beaux-Arts in Paris for painting. He spent the rest of his life in his hometown, Troyes, working in his glass shop until he got sick and couldn't work anymore. His glass work was praised in his first exhibition, saying, "It has been a long time since an innovation of such great importance has come to enrich the art of glass." A lot of his works were destroyed in a bombing during World War I.
Example paintings. Woman with a Hat is a painting by Henri Matisse, an oil canvas. It depicts Matisse's wife, Amélie. It was painted in 1905 and exhibited at the Salon d'Automne during the fall of the same year, along with works by André Derain, Maurice de Vlaminck, and several other artists known as Fauvists. The second example is Showing the Cross Bridge in 1906 by André Derain. In Derain's interpretation, those were not dots but rather intermittently applied color spots and lines. The dominant role was given to color, therefore the volume, depth, and the depicted object were subordinated to color. The third example is the Restaurant de la Machine, a Bongibal in 1905 by André Derain. Restaurant de la Machine at Bongibal was painted in 1905, the breakthrough year for the Fauvism, which became the first actual movement and the first three motivations of the 20th century art. The fourth example is the River Seine at the Chateau, 1906 by Maurice Vlaminck. Chateau was then a small village situated to the west along the Seine. The scene shown here appears to have been observed from a point that island facing the village of Chateau. The painting style was characterized by bright colors and bold brush strokes. The fifth example is The Riders on the Beach in 1902 by Paul Gauguin. This picture, painted on the shore of Autona, which he could see from his last native home. For though its setting is so different from Degas' elegant scenes of the Longchamps track, its pace, its isolation of the figures, its clarity of outline that makes each horse a close form, and the scenes of rhythmic interval, all are akin to the older master's vision.
Yeah, those are the some paintings in Fauvism. Then we have here a words from Henri Matisse. Color was not given to us in order that we should imitate nature. It was given to us so we can express our own emotions. So in Fauvism, they uses colors to express their emotions or to convey their mood, and they they does not just imitate the color of the nature. So they're trying to use colors in very exaggerated ways. Like for example, they uses the color pink in the sky, and in reality there's no sky as color pink, and there's no leaves like color blue. So the use of colors in Fauvism is quite peculiar and odd. So Fauvism is a colorful style of painting, uses bright, wild, and vividly intense color to help convey a mood. So that's Fauvism.